Hi, in this video I'm going to quickly show you the power of browser use, and I'm sure you'll also be equally excited after you have seen this in action. So imagine all you want to do is compare the price of GPT-4o and DeepSeek v3. So what do you normally do? You will go to a website, Google price of GPT-4o and Google also the price of DeepSeek v3, and then compare, and then finally come to your conclusion. Imagine automating this entire thing. That's what browser use can do for you. Okay, so this is a very simple code. Let me first run to showcase what it can do. Okay, the program has started and it is creating a Chromium instance where it is going to automatically Google search, and let's just see it in action. Now it is searching for DeepSeek v3 price. It already searched for OpenAI's. It is visually detecting the elements and it knows what elements correspond to which functionality. And here it is, we have the results. You see here I gave the command. It is initially starting up. So step 1, it realized that it needs to find the prices of GPT-4o and DeepSeek v3, and then it created the Chromium instance, and then it is searching for it, and then finally it extracted from the page in a JSON format. And how cool is that you can actually use the JSON to do further stuff with it. Okay, so having it in JSON format can be important, JSON or any structured data type format. So it's printing in JSON, and then finally it writes down some details. So GPT-4o pricing details, it's $0.15 per 1 million tokens, and DeepSeek v3 is, as expected, it's much cheaper, so 0.07 per million tokens. Okay, so this is just mind-blowing that this entire thing which you do manually can be automated, and running just these 10 lines of code. And what that code does is you simply have some imports. Here is the key import, browser use. Then you simply have the main function and you call the agent. So the agent you import from browser use, and then you just give it a task, and whatever task you do, and then you give the LLM. In this case it's OpenAI, and in this .env file I have to set the OpenAI API key, and here you specify the model, and that's it. You just run it, and it's amazing how a few lines of code can do. So this is their typical example. Let's try a different example. So here I'm searching for myself. Okay, so my name is Satyajit Das, and I'm simply specifying, okay, Satyajit Das did a PhD in Cambridge University, find out where he did his master's. I didn't expect it to give a proper answer to this because this is fairly complicated, and there are so many Satyajit Das out there in the world, and some of them actually have done PhD. So I expected it to be very challenging, but let's see what it does. As you can see, it just did a simple Google search, and it is showing so many other Satyajit Das. Okay, and none of those seem to be actually me. So I'm not sure if it is actually going to find my profile, which matches the description I gave. But surprisingly enough, you see here, what is it saying? Found that Satyajit Das completed his master's in solid mechanics from École Polytechnique Paris. I mean, this is just unbelievable. I mean, it didn't even open that page. It just went over those pages on Google search and found out, okay, which Satyajit Das did a PhD from Cambridge, and then found out the master's profile. And then finally it says, okay, the action is done, and Satyajit Das did masters in solid mechanics from École Polytechnique. So see, such a complicated topic, and it could actually do something about it and gave a correct answer. Not always it gives correct answer, because I have tried this a few times and sometimes it picks up another profile, but in that case it gives a list. So what it does is it simply gives a list of all the Satyajit Das who have some PhD and just mentions their masters. but sometimes it actually correctly gives this. So you can randomly ask it to do any complicated task, especially when it comes to searching in browser, using the browser, and it will likely give a good result. And here you can see basically there are very simple setup. You just pip install browser use and playwright install Chromium, and then simply run this code. And you have to give OpenAI API key, as I mentioned before. It currently supports Anthropic, Azure, Gemini, DeepSeek. It does not support Grok for now, which is supposed to be the cheapest. Ideally, hopefully they will support Grok at some point, where so that you can easily play with it. Feel free to comment on any other ideas you have which can be built on top of this. Okay, thank you.